Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing Tea Street. Today's mug was a gift and it says, sometimes you forget you're awesome, so this is your reminder. Can I just remind you that you are awesome as well? I want to get started today. Today's message, don't skip the process of the mountaintop. Oftentimes we hear people talk about, there's great value in the valley. There's so many lessons that can be learned from the valleys of life. So whatever you do, I've done a coffee with tea on don't skip the process of the valley. Can I say to you today, it's equally important to not skip the process of the mountaintop. The mountaintop isn't just what you experience while you're up there. No one, unless you get dropped off by a helicopter, no one just magically appears on a mountaintop. Getting to the mountaintop is a process. And so today I want to talk about what that process produces. Here's why you don't want to skip the process of the mountaintop. It is the journey of climbing up a mountain to get to the peak that really builds strength and resilience. Your muscle mass, your emotional, your spiritual, your financial mountaintop experience doesn't just happen by happenstance. It happens because you have gone through the process of building your muscle mass, whatever that mass is, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual. It happens on the journey to the mountaintop. Now, I would love to tell you I have lots of experience climbing mountains. I have a little bit of experience. My friends like to do adventurous things like me, and I get them to do crazy things like jumping out of planes. And so my friends in California, a couple of them, talked me into doing hiking up. It wasn't a big mountain, y'all. I really think it was just a big hill, but they called it mountain climbing. So we went up this mountain, and it took me a lot longer than it took other people because, one, I'm slow, two, my knees hurt, and three, I had to carry a whole lot of stuff up the mountain on this carcass of mine. But when I got to the top, I had this experience that I can't quite explain to anyone. Because when I got there, even though the mountain wasn't big for other people, it was ginormous for me. And when I got to the top, one of my patented things that I always do when I accomplish something big is I do my John Cena and I go, I'm the amazing T Street. Y'all got to the top of that mountain. I was winded. Every bone in my body hurt. I started contemplating, how am I getting down from here? But it did not rob me of the moment of being up there and feeling the strength of being able to climb to the top. So it's the journey to the top of the mountain that builds strength and resilience. And if you skip that step, you are weaker because of it. The next thing that you got to know about the process, great appreciation comes from effort. I tell students, if you don't have to work for the A, you don't truly appreciate the A. When teachers give grades, teachers, if you're watching, stop giving kids grades. That's why they don't know that they can jump. They don't know that they can climb because you won't make them put forth effort. They have great appreciation for the grade when they earn it. Kids have more appreciation for a B that they earn than an A that you give them. Make our young people and make us, y'all, as we're talking about the mountaintop experience, appreciation comes from the effort. It's not whether you make it to the top sometimes that matters. It matters that you put forth great effort, because when you do, you have a better appreciation for whatever it is that you accomplish. Me, I'm more excited when I work hard for something than when it's given to me. And I believe that if we could get our young people to see that, they would try harder. Next, you got to understand the path. When you get to the mountaintop and you look back down and you see how you got there, it becomes a real good compass or a GPS for how you can get back down, but also how you can climb the next mountain. One step at a time. When you look back down and you see the path that you've come through and you understand that that pathway was fraught with trials and challenges and all those things, and you overcame them, you said, when I got to this place, I did this. When I got to this place, I did that. When I was overcoming this challenge, I did this. I invested. I put money into a different account. I put aside $1,000 for emergencies. That's what I did to get to that mountaintop. When you start to look back over the path, you understand that how you got there will be the guide for how you can get there again from the next valley that you encounter. And finally, if you're going to sustain your mountaintop experience, you've got to have roots. And your roots don't come without planting in good, deep soil. So when you stand on the mountaintop, you're climbing. Every time you get there, it puts a stake in the ground. You get to the top of your mountain and you start to understand all that went into that. When somebody plants and they see the flower in the spring, they remember being on their knees and their knees hurting going in at the end of the night. They remember that because they had to dig, they had to toil the soil. They had to go out there. I remember when my mom was a gardener and she would go out there and she would dig up the dirt, and she would have this hoe and she would be doing all this stuff, and then she would plant it in the spring. Sometimes she would plant vegetables and we would be able to eat from the harvest of that, or she loved flowers and we would be able to see the beauty of the flowers. But that sustainability came because she put in deep roots. Mountaintop experiences where you have earned it requires deep roots. Stability lasts long after your mountaintop experience if you go through the process of getting to the mountaintop. My very first speech that I ever did in Bucyrus, Ohio for pay was called, I Want You to Be a Player. A person living, good morning Janae, good morning Barbara, person living at your apex. That's what it stood for. I want you to be a player. Because there's a difference between getting to the mountain and living on the mountaintop. Many people can climb and get there, but can you dig the roots that make your climb sustainable? You know what? Whatever you do today, don't skip the process of the mountaintop. And the process isn't just standing on top, putting in your flag and holding up your muscle. It's the muscle mass that you've built getting there. I'm the Amazing T Street. Whatever you do, don't skip the process of the mountaintop. Because you know what? There's nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. So go climb your mountain. Have an amazing day.